Welcome back, dear students. In this video, we are going to discuss about operators in Solidity. So what are operators? As you can see on the screen, they are the same mathematics you're already familiar with. You know, when you are talking about mathematics, you can't do it without operators. When you are doing anything mathematical, it has to be maybe 1 plus 2, 2 times 3. You get things like that. So all those things are also essential in programming language of any type, including Solidity. So I'm going to take you through it, and we do some interesting tests and practical together. So the first thing, I think I want to change this to, you can always change it to whatever you like. Web3, so let's turn it to Web3 word. Now this is what we had from previous lessons. Let's now talk about each of these, and I will try to use them for you as much as I can. Now the first one, we have the plus, which you already know what it is. We have the minus, we have the division, just like your normal mathematics. We have this asterisk represent multiplication in programming, and we have this sign which represents what some will call it modulus, but I prefer to call it remainder. So that means if you divide, for example, you divide 10 by 3, the remainder will be 1, because the answer, you have how many 3s in 10? That's 3. That will be 9. You still have 1 remainder. So that's what this is about. And then the second one I want to talk about is the logical base operator. These are type of operator that help us to perform logical base computation in our programming language like Solidity. So that's like greater than, is this number greater than this? Is this less than this? Then we have this equal to. That's, we also call it assignment operator. That when you say A equal to this, that means you are saying this value here, you are assigning it to A. So anywhere they call A is the same thing as they are calling this number. Do you get what I'm saying? So we call it assignment operator. But mathematically, I know every one of us learned that in school to be equal to. So then we have another one that have these two equal to sign. People still call it equal to, but I think I found it confusing. So I prefer to call it equivalent. That is this thing equivalent. When you say something is equivalent, it's different from equal to. When you say A is equal to this, in programming, you know you are assigning this. But when you say equivalent, that means you want to compare. That let's say 2 equivalent to 2, or 3 equivalent to 4. No, 2 is equivalent to 2. They are same. 3 is not equivalent. So in such a case, we have something that we call this. So you hear people say it not equals to, but I call it not equivalent to. Are you getting what I'm saying? So not equivalent to. So is either it is equivalent to, or so that means we can now say 2 equivalent to 2, but in this case 2 is not equivalent to 1. Do you get what I'm saying now? So 2 is not equivalent to 1. So, and there are a lot more that are still out there. So at the end of this video, I have an exercise for you which we talk about for you to learn more. But before we do that, let's try and put some of this into practical use in our Solidity code. I'm coming. Yeah. So, okay, I think before I go, we have, okay, it is in JavaScript and we have this like comparison, but I think I've tried it in Solidity. It's not working. So these are part of things you can check out in the exercise to read more. So for now, let's check this out. Now, what should we do now? We already have hello web3 word function, public pure, and return a string, which is the result here. This was coming, this is the same thing we have here, hello world from the previous class of comparison and things like that. So here now, let's now put these things into work. I want to use what we call if statement. We're still going to get to it. So like, you know, I introduce some things, we just need them, but later on, just like the variable, you get to know them very in depth. So we need something like that here. And in that case, let's put an if statement. If so, don't worry, we'll still learn about if. Just follow me what I'm doing. Else. Now, the current previous contract just output this just like we did previously, but now we want to use something logical to determine like two answers. If this doesn't happen, let this happen. So that's what we want to do now. So instead of just returning this, we want to give it logic. Then we have another return here. Return, what should we return? Let's try and return instructor full name. So I think over here, instructor full name. So hope you remember this here, this string instructor full name. And you can see the value of it, so we'll get to that. Now we have this ready. We need this argument to be here, so there has to be a condition here. If it is true, it will perform this particular code, but if not, if it is false, it will execute this particular code. So that's what the if statement is all about. Now let's space this to make it a bit cleaner. Okay, good. Now let's write an argument and we start using, let's say 1 plus 2 is equivalent to 3. Do you see? So we need to change this to something like view. So like I said, we'll still get to that. All this function, we talk function in depth. So, and by now, you know, when I say we talk in depth, we'll surely talk about it in depth. So now we have here operators in use. So we are using our operator in Solidity now. I want to just test the things out. Now what this does is this. It says instead of just returning here this answer, we want to return, we have two options and we want a condition to be true. Now what we are now saying is that if 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3, is equivalent to 3, then this code should run. Are you getting what I'm saying? But in case it's not true, then it will run this. So let's first deploy that and let's see how that will be executed. So we want to deploy this and we have it down there. Remember the first state was here, but so now hello web3. So let's click here now. So okay, just shorten it. It ought to be hello Web3 word. You can see it. So next time let's just put this. And do you notice what happened? It gave us this particular answer, which is this. Why? Because this particular comparison is true. 3 equivalent to 3. Are you getting me now? Now, that is, we have used the plus and the equivalent that we discussed here. That's logical. Trying to compare logical, that if this is this, then do this. If not, do this. Now, let's try something here. Let's try to say this equal to 4. So, pause this. What do you think will give us? Because 1 plus 2 equals to 3. And we are saying 3 equivalent to 4. Is it? Let's see. So now we need to deploy it again. And we have another one here. Let's try and hide this so that this thing is not too long. So this is the first answer. Let's click the second one. Can you see? It outputted what? Solomon Foske, which is my name actually. Instructor full name. So what happened is that when the code checked here, discovered that this particular thing is not true. Remember, it will only run this first code if it's true. If this is true. But if this is false, which is, remember, Boolean. If this is false, then it will run this. So if this is true, run this code. Else, that means if not, run this code. So the moment this was false, it skipped this code because it's not true. Then it find an else and run this code because 3 is not equivalent to 4. Now let's try another one here. What about if we now use this sign, some not equal to, but like I told you, I call it not equivalent to, so that I won't mix things up. Equal to is an assignment. You get what I'm saying? So not equivalent to 4. Now let's rerun this again. Deploy. And then let's come back here and run. What happened this time around? Oh, sorry. This is the new one we just deployed. So we have this. Can you see? It's true because 3 is not equivalent to 4. So it will run this again, just like this first one here. Do you get what I'm saying? So let me minimize all this. This was the second one, and now the third one. In this case, we try to use not equivalent to. So those are the ways we use different operators in Solidity. I think any other one we may just want to test out before we go. Okay, let's just say something like 4 divided by 2 is what? 2. So equivalent to 4. That's false because this will give us 2 and 2 is not equivalent to 4. So which means it should run this code, not this code. So let's deploy it again. Let's do this. Can you see now? It output this because this particular thing is what? Is false. Do you get what I'm saying now? It's false. So, but if we turn this, for example, to 2 times 4, 8. Okay, to 8. That's 2 divided by 8 equals to 4. 4 is equivalent to 4. So it should return this particular content here, the data value of this variable. So let's redeploy again and scroll down and click. Do you see it? We have this particular option. Why? Because when you say 2 divided by 8 divided by 2, you have 4. Then 4 is equivalent to 4. So any other one we have not used, if we say 2 times 2, that's steric 2 is equal to 4, you should know what it will run. Pause it, and you should know what this will run by now. It will give us this same thing. Let's redeploy it again. I think we're already having too much open there. Let's close some of this. Good. We should just close it up so that we make it a bit cleaner. So this was the last answer. We deploy again, we'll get the same answer, right? Yeah, because 2 times 2, 4, then is equivalent to this. But if you say not equivalent, you are saying 4 is not equivalent to 4. This makes this particular check to be false, because 4 is equal to 4. Is equivalent to 4. So now you will see that it will eventually run this, because this particular logical operator and the value is comparing is not. So 2 times 2 equals to 4, equals to 4, and is equivalent to 4. You get what I'm saying? So let's deploy this and let's run it, and you can see it Solomon Foskey, because this is a false statement. You get what I'm saying? So the same thing if you say 2 minus 2 equals to 0. So, and 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 is not equal to 4, or let's first equivalent to 4, sorry. So we are now saying 2 minus 2 equivalent to 4, which is false, because this is 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 is not equivalent to 4. So what will happen is it will run this particular something because it is false. So let's load. Let me even delete them. So let's deploy this, and then we have it here. You can see it will run this. So, but if I say not, this becomes true, because 0, 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 is not equal to 4 and not equivalent. Do you see it now? Not equivalent to 4. So let's deploy it, and then we run it. Do you see it now? So this statement is true, because 0 is not equivalent to 4. They are not the same. So then it will run this. Do you see it now? So those are part of the operators there. And before you go, I have an exercise for you. We are putting the full list of Solidity operators out there. Sorry for my pronunciation. Just focus on the value you are getting in this course. Now, remember, each time you do this exercise, you are helping yourself to, to work and develop more. So what you will do is this: write a Solidity smart contract out, and you can just copy this same function, don't worry, but inside of it use just particular something and deploy it. And what you are going to use is, the first thing you will do is, once you research and learn more about different Solidity operator we have, make use of it and add that particular operator, just one, so that other students can add in the forum that will be added below the video. That's number one. Number two, below it, try to use that particular operand here within two numbers here. Try to use it. Then you can now use maybe equal to or equivalent to, whichever, or you can just use the same thing, but your operator should be this. So, and run your code, deploy, test it, and post in the forum. So that's it. When you do all these exercises, it will really help you. That's when what you are learning in this course will really now, give you that confidence that you really now know smart contracts, you can work with Solidity and things like that. So I will see you in the next video in this course. I remain Solomon Foske of Programming FAQ. Keep the programming spirit high and alive.